You're probably not ready for this. And that's exactly why you should keep listening. Because if you came here expecting a comforting take on Virgo, this is not that video. Let's get something out of the way immediately. Virgo is not a good person. Not in the way society defines good. Not in the way people want goodness to feel. And before you get angry, before you feel the urge to disagree, notice something. You're still here. Because part of you already knows this isn't an insult. It's a warning. We live in a world that worships emotional comfort. We praise people who make us feel safe. We reward those who say the right thing at the right time in the right tone. We call them kind. We call them mature. We call them good. Virgo doesn't play that game. Virgo breaks it. And that's why people don't know what to do with them. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When you say someone is a good person, what do you really mean? Do you mean they're honest? Or do you mean they don't make you feel bad? Because those two things are not the same. Virgo understands this early in life. Sometimes painfully early. They learn that telling the truth costs them warmth. That pointing out problems makes them unpopular. That improving things often looks like criticism to people who want reassurance. So they're faced with a choice most people never consciously make. Be liked or be useful. Virgo almost always chooses useful. And that choice follows them everywhere. Virgo doesn't walk into a situation asking, "Who's feeling sensitive today?" They ask, "What's wrong here that everyone is pretending not to see?" That question alone is enough to make people defensive because it forces accountability. And accountability is the enemy of comfort. Here's where people get Virgo wrong. They think Virgo enjoys pointing out flaws. They don't. They're stressed by them. Virgo's mind doesn't relax around disorder. It tightens. Their attention locks onto inefficiency, inconsistency, wasted potential. Not because they want to judge you, but because their brain is wired to prevent collapse. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought, but anchored in Earth. That combination is ruthless. It means Virgo doesn't just notice problems. They feel responsible for fixing them. And responsibility is heavy, especially when no one asked you to carry it. Virgo often becomes the person who cleans up messes they didn't create. The person who says the thing everyone else is thinking, but too afraid to voice. The person who ruins the mood by telling the truth. And moods are sacred in modern culture. We protect vibes more than outcomes. We'd rather feel good now than be stable later. Virgo refuses that trade, and people resent them for it. Let's be honest. If Virgo ever made you uncomfortable, it probably wasn't because they were wrong. It was because they saw something about you you hadn't made peace with yet. Virgo doesn't attack randomly. They react to misalignment, to contradictions between words and actions, to effort that doesn't match intention. And when they point it out, they don't sugarcoat it, because sugar hides rot. This is where the split happens. Some people hear Virgo and think they're trying to help. Others hear Virgo and think, who do they think they are? Same words, different readiness. Virgo exposes the gap between who you think you are and what you're actually doing. And that gap hurts. So instead of closing it, people shoot the mirror. They call Virgo cold, harsh, too much. But let's flip this. What does it really mean when someone says, Virgo is too much? It usually means, I don't want to look that closely. Virgo looks closely by default. They notice the small things that become big disasters. They see patterns before consequences. They speak early, before the damage is obvious. And that timing is why they're disliked. Because prevention never feels heroic. No one claps for the person who stopped the problem before it exploded. They clap for the one who comforts them after everything is already broken. So Virgo becomes the villain in stories that value feelings over function. Think about your own life. Who do people praise when things are calm? The agreeable one, the inspiring one, the emotionally fluent one. Now think about who they call when everything starts falling apart. The one who sees clearly, the one who stays logical, the one who knows how to fix what others ignored. That's Virgo, not the favorite, the necessary one. Virgo doesn't exist to validate your emotions. They exist to protect the structure underneath them. And structure isn't gentle. Structure is honest. This is why Virgo love feels different. They don't love by praising. They love by refining, by correcting, by pointing out the flaw. That will hurt you later if ignored. To Virgo, silence is not kindness. Silence is neglect. If a Virgo is still talking to you, still correcting you, still pushing you, it means they still believe improvement is possible. The moment they stop, that's not peace. That's resignation. Virgo doesn't leave loudly. They leave when they realize their effort is wasted. And most people don't notice until it's too late. This is the loneliness of Virgo. They are surrounded by people, but rarely understood. Valued for what they provide, not for who they are. Needed in crisis, ignored in calm. They carry responsibility. Without applause, they prevent disasters no one will ever credit them for. And when they finally burn out, people say, "You've changed." No, they just stopped saving everyone. Virgo doesn't want power. They want things to work. They don't want control. They want coherence. And that makes them dangerous to systems built on avoidance. Let's talk about why this video bothers people. Because it challenges a comforting lie. The lie that goodness is about being pleasant. It's not. Goodness without honesty is just politeness. And politeness doesn't stop collapse. Virgo understands something society avoids. That truth, delivered early, is less cruel than silence. That correction offered now is kinder than regret later. But that kind of goodness doesn't feel good in the moment. So people reject it. They label Virgo as not nice. As if nice has ever saved anything. The world doesn't break because of bad people. It breaks because no one wants to be the difficult one. Virgo is willing to be difficult, willing to be disliked, willing to say the thing. That ruins the illusion. And yes, that makes life harder for them. They don't get emotional protection. They don't get the benefit of the doubt. They don't get celebrated for effort. They get resistance, suspicion, distance. And still, they show up. Because if they don't, things decay quietly. Relationships rot politely. Systems fail slowly. And no one notices. Until it's irreversible. So when you say Virgo isn't good, you're right. They're not good in a way that soothes. They're good in a way that sustains. They are the reason things survive. And that role was never meant to be glamorous. If this made you uncomfortable, ask yourself why. If it made you defensive, ask yourself what felt exposed. And if you're a Virgo listening to this, let me say what most people never will. You were never meant to be everyone's favorite. You were meant to be reliable. When comfort fails, you were meant to see clearly. When others look away, you were meant to be necessary. In a world obsessed with being liked. And that matters more than applause. If this hit harder than expected, share it with someone who still confuses honesty with cruelty. Like the video if it told a truth you don't hear often. Subscribe if you want more conversations that sound wrong at first, but turn out to be real. And if you disagree, say it. The comments are open. Virgo wouldn't want it any other way.